friends. So today we have an interesting topic to discuss. I will talk about state closures that may happen and what can cause that. I will talk about the food shortages that can happen as well and what can cause that as well. So today I will also mention a dream that my friend had and a similar dream that I had myself recently. So stay tuned and let me know what you think. So did you see that Texas and I believe some other states as well, they have closed down freeways and highways due to the weather that they were having? So they closed it down because they were having a lot of fatalities on the roadways, and due to the freezing snow and sleet on the roads and ice. So they choose to close it, stating that everybody should stay home and not use the highways. But the funny part is that people still were using the highways. They choose not to listen to the authorities, and well, not all of them, but some of them still choose to drive on the roadways, on the highways, on the freeways, and the closures did not stop them. But the state closures that I'm talking about are the state closures from state to state. They're talking about, there's like talk about closing the states and possibly limiting people traveling from each state to a state, stopping people on the border and turning them away, stating that this will cause, it's really sunny today. So not only sunny, it's really windy as well. So what I was saying, I guess they'll be monitoring people from going from state to state by closing down the borders between the states. And I was wondering what could happen. How will that happen? What will cause the authorities to stop and to close the states? So as I was thinking about it and reading about it, what are some of the things that can cause that? People say COVID, the pandemic, the restrictions to keep more people from getting sick. That was like number one reason they were saying could happen. But another reason they were saying is that a big political upheaval can happen as well, and that could happen, trigger something like that. So to keep the peace in place and from spreading a lot of violence, they were saying they would close down the states and they won't let anyone leave or come and go. So that will bring us to the next point, which is number 2, food shortages. Yes, because usually if they close down the borders of the state, they won't let anyone pass through, even the truck drivers. So that would limit the food deliveries and even can not only food shortages, but it can in different states, in different cities, in different stores, but it can also create gas shortages and other popular items that people need. So that brings us back to our first question. What can happen to trigger such upheaval in the White House? What can make officials want to close down the borders of each state? Well, I'm sure you can imagine what can trigger that. And hopefully it never will happen, but there's talk about it. So people are talking about it. There's something possibly can happen. And hopefully you are prepared to be without going to the store for any kind of item you may need. And hopefully you have gas in case you need to drive somewhere. So now I will talk about the dream that my friend had about, I guess she saw the West Coast and she saw a lot of people in their cars were driving away from it. There was some kind of, like she saw like some kind of, she couldn't really know because in her dream she said almost like a natural disaster or some kind of commotion that happened on the West Coast, and people were driving away so crazily. They were like driving like fast, and she even saw people running away without cars, like they were running from the West Coast, and she could see it because she saw the West Coast and people were running from it. So that's all she really could tell in her dream, and she was just kind of worried about it and thinking what can happen, what can trigger that. And that reminded me that I had a similar dream. I had a dream that I saw like a white cloud full of dust and like rocks, and there were like, I could see people running away from it, and I didn't see, that's what I saw. I saw people running away, and behind them big cloud of white dust-like substance. So like some kind of, either, I have no clue what happened as well. In my dream I couldn't really tell, but it just it looked kind of like something blew up. So as I talked to my friend, I realized that her dream and my dream were kind of similar, and something can happen on the West Coast that will possibly trigger some kind of reaction, and people will run away from it. So hope you guys stay well, stay safe, and I told you it was pretty windy today. And hopefully the state closures will not happen, and hopefully the food shortages will not happen as well. But it's good to be prepared no matter what happens. So in case it does happen, you will be all prepared and know what to do. Stay safe and take care.